Okay, here we go. So, I'm going to do just the problems from the homework because there wasn't answers. And even seeing the answers wouldn't help you out that much. Okay, so let's look at A. So basically what we're doing is simplifying this thing. 4 squared, A to the 5th squared. Okay, there we go. They give us that thing and they ask us to simplify it. I should probably get out a calculator, but I won't. Okay? Now I won't. All right, here we go. So what this means is we're taking 4a and multiplying by itself. So 4a times 4a times 4a. One other way to look at that would be 4a times 4a times 4a, right? Another way to look at this is that we've been going in class. That's the same as saying 4 to the third, a to the third, times, we can distribute this 2, and distribute this 2, 4 to the, 2 times 2 is 4, times a to the 2 times 5 is 10. Okay? Then this is this times this times this times this. It's just another way of writing that. This times this times this times this. So we got numbers, a to the third times a to the 10th is a to the 13th. And we got 4 to the third times 4 to the 4th. That's some number. And if you look, it's the number 16,384. Times a to the 13th. That's what we got, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, let's go to a harder one. I'm getting a phone call, which I will answer later. All right, let's go to part B. And you can just pause that, so. Part B, we got x, y, z to the third times to the second, 2x to the third to the fourth, and there's an extra parenthesis right there, times y to the negative fourth. All right, here we go. Okay, this means multiply this times itself. That's what that means. X, y, z to the cube squared is multiply this times itself. When we do that, it just so happens that this can be distributed into here like so. We get x squared times y squared times z to the 2 times 3 is 6. See ya. Okay, and then we have multiplied by all this good stuff. Okay, maybe we can clear up what that is. X squared times y squared times z to the 6. I better make sure that's on. You think so? Okay, it's on. Times this to the 4th, we get 2 to the 4th times x. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, and we have a y left over. Negative 4th power. Okay, we discussed this in class today. What do we do when something's to the negative 4th power? It's the same as taking this thing. Instead of, if this was just to the 4th power, I'd say, hey, take this thing and multiply it by itself 4 times. When I do it to the negative 4th power, I'm saying, hey, take this thing and divide, take whatever this stuff is and divide by this thing 4 times. So when we do that, we get x squared. Some people think about it as just pulling this down and changing the sign, but we'd like to give it a little bit more meaning than that. 2 to the 4th, x to the 12th, y to the 4th. Okay? Once again, we can distribute that 4 in pretty nicely. Y squared, z to the 6th, all over 2 to the 4 times 4 is 16. X to the 12 times 4 is 48. Y to the 4th. Okay, we got y times y up here, and y times y times y times y to the 4th. So we can kind of cancel these things, and we're left with a y squared on the bottom. We're left with a x to the 46th up here. And we're left with just 2 to the 16, which is 65,536. 65,536. Okay, and then we got a, oh, we canceled this with this, and so we're left with a z to the 6th up there, and that's our answer. Sound good? All right. Let's move to problem C. Okay, problem C. I want to make sure that this is maybe a little more that way. Okay, problem C, we got x plus 1 squared times x minus 3 cubed all over x minus 3 squared times x plus 1 cubed. Okay, so x plus 1, when I plug in any number, I'm going to get like 7. Plus 1 is 8. 8 squared. Notice if I plug in 7, I get 8 squared. If I plug in 7, I get 8 cubed. These are always the same number no matter what I plug in for x. They're the same terms. So they can cancel because I'm multiplying by the same number up here and dividing by that same number 3 times right here. So I multiply by that number, whatever that is, twice up here, and I divide by it 3 times, so I'm left with one of these x plus 1s. Okay? Same thing goes like this. These are the same terms. I'm multiplying by whatever this happens to be when I plug in an x value 3 times, and by that same number I'm dividing 2 times. So I'm left with 1 up there. That's our answer. Okay? All right. Part D. Remember, this is number 6 from the homework. Okay, we got 5, a to the 0. 5, a to the 0, b to the 0, all over 5a to the negative 5. 5a to the negative 5, okay? A to the 0, anything to the 0 power is just 1. B to the 0, anything to the 0 power is just 1. So 5 times 1 is just 5. And we got 5a to the negative 5 left over. Okay, we can think of that as just moving this up and changing the sign to a positive number. But if we do think about it as maybe a division, if we think of it as 5 divided by 1 times 5a, well, times 5a to the negative 5. Okay, there's a 1 out here. 1 times this stuff, or it's just this stuff. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take 5, hey, 5a to the negative 5 is just same thing as taking whatever's over here and dividing by 5a to the 5th. Not a to the 5th, 5a to the 5th. Okay, when we divide fractions, 5 divided by 1 over 5a to the 5th. Okay, this is just another way of looking at it. We could have just moved this up here and said this is equal to 5 times 5a to the positive 5 and gotten our answer. Some people just do that automatically. This is more of the reason why it works. It's because I'm dividing, and then when I divide, I take this, take the reciprocal of this thing, and multiply across. Okay, so the reciprocal of this thing is just going to be 5a to the 5th. Okay, notice we're getting the same answer as up there. These are the same things. We'd simplify this a little bit. We're at 5a to the 5th is 5 to the 5th times a to the 5th times this 5. We get 5 to the 6th times a to the 5th, which if we multiply out, we just get 15,625 a to the 5th, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. This division thing is a little more why it works. Honestly, for simple manipulation, a lot of people just say, okay, I'm dividing by a negative, move this term up here, change that to positive. A lot of people do that. This is some conceptual background to why that works, okay? Part D. So we have part E. Part E, we got, okay, this one's a little more fun. X to the negative 1, y, z cubed to the 4th, okay? And we got 6x to the negative 1, y, z to the negative 2, like so. Okay, so, whoa. Something seems wrong with this kid. This z looks weird. Look at z cubed like that. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's right. So we look at this and we say to ourselves, okay, we got all this stuff getting to the fourth power, which means take this, multiply by itself 4 times, 6 times, now it's the same as distributing this guy in here, x to the negative 4, y to the 4th, z to the 4 times 3 is 12. We got it all over, that's all to the negative 2. So we got 6 to the negative 2, I think. Is that all to the negative 2? That is all to the negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 1 is x to the positive 2, y to the negative 2, z to the negative 2. Oh, that's a lot of negatives in there. Okay. Now, one way that we could think about this is, hey, we're dividing by, since it's on the bottom, we're dividing by this by 6 2 times, right? And if we do that division, we're going to get 2 6s up here, multiplying the top by 6 2 times. But one way we can just remember and think about that is when I'm dividing, or if I have 6 to the negative 2, I can move it down here to get 6 to the positive 2 on the denominator. If I have 6 to the negative 2 on the denominator, I can move it to the numerator and get 6 to the 2. I'll show you what I mean. 6, we have all this stuff up here. And I'm going to even get rid of this parentheses because it's just this times this times this times this. And it doesn't matter how it looks since we got rid of that exponent. So we got 6 times x to the negative 4 times y to the 4th times z to the 12th. Okay, this x to the negative 4th is the same as dividing by x 4 times. So we get an x to the 4 down here. Okay, now, so let's get rid of that. We're going to move that x to the 4 down there, and then just leave the 6 up there. Okay, now 6 to the negative 2, we move it up here, multiply it by 6 to the 2. Just change that one up. Okay, we got x squared. We'll move this up. Well, no, x squared is not a negative. We can just keep it down there. Y to the negative 2. It's the same as multiplying the top by y squared. Z to the negative 2 is the same as multiplying this by z squared. Okay, that's a crazy fraction. X to the 4th times x squared. So we got x to the 4th times x squared like that. Okay, we should just get 6 to the 3rd. Notice I'm just multiplying all this stuff together. So I got 6 squared, 6 to the 3rd. We got y to the 4th up here, y to the 2nd. So y to the 6th times z to the 12th times z to the 2nd. So I'm looking at these two right now. So you get z to the 14th. And then I get x to the 4th times x to the 2nd. That's the same as multiplying by x 6 times x to the 6th. Whatever that 6 to the 3rd is, we put it in our calculator and we should get the answer, which is 216. So this equals 216, 216 y to the 6th, z to the 14th, all over x to the 6th. I hope you can hear this because, yeah, I'm not wearing the little mic thing. So let me know, someone in class, let me know if you can't hear me because of the mic. And we'll always switch it so I have my answer. Okay, last one, E and F. I can't believe I didn't put in the mic. All right, well, E and F. F is, we got 3x to the negative 1, z to the 5th, all times x to the negative 2, all over 2x to the 5th, y all to the 3rd. Okay, sadly I have somewhere to be, so I gotta hurry up here. So we got this term all raised to the negative 2. We can move that term down like we've been doing. We're left with 1 on the top, not 0. 2x to the 5th. I think that's a y. Y to the 3rd times 3x to the negative 1, z to the 5, all to the 2nd power. Okay? Remember this, going to negative 2 is the same as dividing it twice. Okay, we can write this out as 2 to the 3rd, x to the 3 times 5 is 15, y to the 3rd times 3 to the 2nd times x to the negative 2, z to the 10th. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, and we should simplify that a little bit. So we got 2 to the 3rd, we got this and this, so that's x to the, we add the exponents and we get x to the 13th. Whoa, what am I doing here? It's all over 1 still. So we got 2 to the 3rd, x to the 13 times 3 to the 2nd. I want to put these together because They're both numbers, and multiply those together in a second. Done that, touch that, touch that, touch that. Y to the third times z to the 10th. Okay, and then that's a number. So you get this is equal to 1 over, what is that number? 72. Yeah, 3 times 3 is 9. Yeah, 72. 72, x to the 13, y to the third, z to the 10th. Answer. Okay, sounds great. Have a good one. Good luck. Gotta go. Bye.